Hey guys, it's Martin Cliffe here again with the next instalment of my virtual band setup or future band setup series. If you remember from previous weeks, I've talked about how I never want other people's financial situation or lack of gear to be a stumbling block in their ability to play with me. I want to play with the best musicians I can. So I have, using the fortunate time that I've had in Hong Kong where I've been able to earn a decent living and not have to spend too much money on bills or anything like that. I've built up an arsenal of gear so that I can supply an entire band and play whatever part suits. So this week we're looking at the drums, so I'll get behind it. The kit is fully mic'd up, but I do not have my recording interface all set up at the moment, so you're just hearing the sound from the ambient mics on my audio recorder. It was just too much hassle to be able to set up the sound system, but hopefully it gives you an idea. I'll give you a tour of what's on the kit. As with anything else, it's not small, it's not subtle, it's very much a kind of prog rock kit, but that's exactly what I want. So this kit draws its influences from many drummers. There is definitely more than a hint of Neil Peart about it. There's bits of Mike Portnoy. There's also Gavin Harrison, various drummers who have inspired me. But just to give you a basic tour of it, it does strip down so that if I want to do a small gig, I can just have a single bass drum, one rack tom, ride, two crashes, one or two floor toms, splash, stacks, cowbell, hi-hat, snare. And that's quite a simple setup. This microphone is not on at the moment, but this arm just enables, everything's mounted on a Yamaha rack, hex rack system, so everything is pretty solid. Obviously this is wobbling a little bit, but all the microphones and everything are all mounted, so the entire thing is pretty stable, solid, and relatively compact for the size of the kit. So it's a Yamaha Absolute Maple Hybrid, Absolute Hybrid Maple kit for the most part, with the exception of the primary snare, everything else. So I've got an 8-inch tom, 10-inch tom, 12-inch tom, 14-inch floor tom, 16-inch floor tom, 20-inch kick drum. I've always been a fan of 20-inch kick drums. For some reason that's rattling stuff at the moment. I will figure that out. When I moved the kit I had a slight issue with rack positioning, so it could be just that. And then there is the Absolute Hybrid Maple snare drum on my left, which I've got set tuned fairly high for definitely as a secondary snare. I don't have a popcorn snare. I like Yamaha drums. They don't make a nice 10-inch snare that I found, or even a 12 by 4 or something, without going brass or something stupidly expensive. So I thought I'd just crank this one. And then my primary snare is a 5-inch deep by 14-inch Yamaha Beach Custom Absolute Nouveau from a few years ago in Silver Sparkle. So it doesn't quite match the rest of the kit, but I had one of these snare drums many years ago, really regretted selling it. So when I saw one going on eBay, I picked it up and I love the sound of it. It's got a huge tuning range, so I can set it really low, really high, or somewhere in between. Percussion wise, I have a LP Cyclops brass jingle hi-hat on this side. I have an LP Cyclops mounted steel jingle hi-hat, tambourine on this side. And I have a Rock Ridge Rider Classic cowbell. And then from there we just have cymbals, all Sabian, all AAX except for one, which is the Max Stacks 10-inch, the mid Max Stacks, Mike Portnoy signature stacks, which sounds fairly horrendous on its own. but as part of a groove or a fill, it has its uses. So from the left, we have 18-inch Chinese and 15-inch AX Dark Crash. Under those, so that's the China. Not subtle. My Chinas never sound like other people's Chinas, and I've never known why. I've owned 5, I think, and they all sound a bit sustainy and harsh, but what can you do? The Dark Crash. I like fairly small crashes because they don't last as long, so for recording they're better. Then I've got 6-inch Splash, 7-inch Max Splash, 8-inch Splash. Main crash number 1 is a 16-inch Explosion crash, which I've owned for at least 17 years, I think. At least 15 years, I think 17 years now. 17-inch Explosion Fast Crash, which I guess is probably my main crash, I don't know. These two are both really good crashes. They sound quite different, which is always good. Main hi-hats are Accelerator hats, 13-inch. I like 13-inch hi-hats. Then I've got the aforementioned Max Stacks 10-inch AX Splash. My old 20-inch AX Dry Ride. They've not made the cymbal for at least 10 years, but it's still my favourite ride cymbal. I have a secondary ride, which is a 20-inch Explosion ride, which brighter, more cutting, has a great bell. A bit more washy as well. 18-inch Ozone. It kind of sounds like I would want a China to sound. It seems like it's a long way around, but actually it's very convenient for when you're playing at the end of a fill. And then I have a X hat here, which is some old AX Fusion hats, 13-inch, that I bought many years ago secondhand. I used to use those as my main hi-hats for quite a while. And then I have a stack here that is a 11-inch Explosion Splash, sorry, on top of a 12-inch chopper. I think it's a 12-inch chopper. The chopper on its own I wasn't a big fan of, but with the splash on top, really like that. So it's just lots of sounds available to me. I'm not the greatest drummer in the world, but I'm learning. And again, it's available to other drummers who I want to play with, or want to play with me, perhaps is more appropriate. There we go. Hope you've enjoyed this little tour of the kit. And until next time, take care, and I'll speak to you soon.